All right, guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Let's Assess. For those of you who tuned in last week, it was a great episode. We appreciate all the support on that. And again, thank you to Eric for sitting down and taking the time to talk with us. Today is a super exciting episode because it's build season. It's right around the holidays, so it's somewhat of a gift guide. We're going to jump right into the 5 essential things that me and AJ love to have on our Polaris snowmobiles.
Look, I don't want to talk. How you try and press the kid and read it, you was soft.
All right, guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Let's Assess. So like I just stated, we're going to dive into our 5 essentials right now, and I'm going to let AJ take it over, and then I'll swing around and tell you what I like to put on my sled.
All right, guys, welcome back. Yeah, and hopefully you guys listened to last week's episode. A lot of great stuff in that. And can't thank Eric enough for hopping on with us and giving us so much time. It was we learned a lot over there. If you guys are liking that, if you're liking our content, if you haven't seen our content, go look at our Instagrams. Brent will put our handles up, and then subscribe on YouTube, like all of our stuff, comment, tell us what you think of everything, what you want to see. Just interact with us. We'll interact back, and it helps us a lot if you guys engage. So please subscribe and like, and we're going to jump right into these first 5 things. So for me, I'm going to do my list a little bit different. It's going to be essentials, but I'm going to do them from like the must-have standpoint. Like from first thing is like, I will not leave the parking lot without this. And that's a tunnel bag for me. I use the biggest, it's a lock and ride system from Polaris, and it's the adventure bag. And it's like, you can fit a lot of stuff in it.
You can fit a dead body in that thing.
Yeah, it's a monster. Like, especially it's not like the Brent long edition, but it's just really tall and deep. So I can fit all my stuff in it. You know, I got a chainsaw chain in there. You know, we'll do a whole bag description with someday. But the biggest thing with having a tunnel bag for me is getting that weight off of my back. Yes, I run an airbag and vest, so that keeps a lot of the weight more central on the body anyway. But I hate having a big backpack like that's flinging you around on the sled. So tunnel bag, that's essential for me. I think it helps a lot of beginner riders get that weight off their body, and then you can have all your stuff with you. You know, be prepared. Next thing is a handlebar bag. I like a handlebar bag just for quick access to things. I have a Leatherman in there, I have fire starter in there, I have my sunglasses in there, and I have my beanie in there, an extra set of gloves, and a pair of goggles. And those are all things that, like, if we're riding and we're like, oh man, we got to get back to the truck or something like that, like, and all goggles fog up or something like that, I can immediately get to that, or I need dry gloves, something, you know, that's all really fast things to get to. So handlebar bag is my second. The third thing, and this is something that is a Polaris item, and it's electric start for me. I love electric start, and it's just for when you're in those awkward positions. You can just reach over, twist the key, fires right up. You know, even when you're dead tired from wrecking as much as I do, twist the key and start it up. It's a game changer for me. And especially with the guiding and stuff that I do, it's, you know, you're on and off the sled so much that just twisting the key is a really big thing. Now with the electric start, I do a lithium battery. I do a very, very small micro start battery. It's 120 cranking amps. So an original lead acid battery is like 14 pounds. This thing's under 2 pounds. So it's substantial weight savings to where you're not putting a ton of weight on with electric start. So those things paired together are a must have for me. I do want to hop back to the handlebar bag. The handlebar bag I do use is the Axis. It's on Polaris, and it's the Axis Pro Taper handlebar bag. That's the one I like. I don't like the Polaris goggle bag or whatever. It's not big enough for me.
Last weekend, I used the handlebar bag for the first time in a really long time.
Yeah.
And dude, it is handy. Like having everything, like for me, I like having the GoPro like wrapped in a microfiber cloth.
Yep.
So it's like if I want to get like footage of something really quick,
yes,
that I don't want to get off the sled and, you know, get into my setup on, you know, my camera case, I can just unzip it, you know, like you're talking about. There was hand warmers in there. There was all kinds of little things, keys, put my phone in there, little snicky snack. All that stuff's nice to have right up there, and it's overlooked because I haven't been running one for a couple years, but I do like it.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that I think you're right is overlooked, and it's a cheap, if you're looking for a gift idea, it's a very affordable gift idea for sure. Tunnel bag, not so much. Lithium battery and electrics are not so much, but those are, key things for me. But a handlebar bag is something that does get overlooked and is very, very handy. The next thing for me that I will always put on is a muffler of some sort. If it's a boost, I'll do a tunnel dump just because I don't want any capping off. If it's, a standard sled, I'll just do a regular muffler to get rid of the weight. It's a huge weight savings, and I like a little bit of sound to the snowmobile. The stock is okay. It's very quiet, and that is very nice sometimes too, but I want a little bit throatier sound on my sled, so I do enjoy having the exhaust. And it gives you an opportunity to get a muff pot on there too. It gives you a little more space, freeze it up, make it easier. So I do like a hot meal on the mountain. And the last thing for me, and this could be another gift idea for you guys, is ski rubbers. On a Polaris, the ski rubbers are, I'm just going to say it, they're shit. And it can ruin your day when you don't have a ski rubber or an extra ski rubber with you to fix it. You are over the handlebars and dive bombing, and it is a miserable experience. So I am running the Salzing or something like that ski rubbers this year, see how they do. Ran the DuraPros before. They did awesome. I just want to try something different this year, so I'm going to try those. But ski rubbers, another cheap, around $100 gift idea, and definitely an essential for me just to make that experience better.
Yeah. Okay, so on mine, I'm going from cheapest or relatively cheapest to most expensive. These are the things that, like I said, they're not performance things necessarily. They're just like essential, making everything easier. So
comforts.
Yeah, comforts. The first thing is, like AJ talks about, his tunnel bag. For me, it's a camera case. That's number one. I'm always shooting media up there. I'm always shooting video, shooting with drones, shooting with all kinds of stuff. And that's part of the passion. So without it, it's like I'm kind of missing out on half the fun, if you will. And so a camera case is like an absolute must for me to keep everything safe. I go with a hard Pelican case. I've had cheaper cases that don't have locking latches open when I fell in a creek one time. And so all my stuff got soaked and ruined, and luckily I have warranties on everything, but still. So that's the first thing, camera case. And I made I have a video on the channel talking about how I mount everything. It's kind of a custom thing, but you guys could do it as well. It uses the lock and ride like he's talking about from Polaris. So it goes directly on and off the snowmobile. Super, super easy. It's a little heavy, but for the protection of the cameras, I think it's worth it. So jumping in to the next thing, he's touched on it. I run DuraPro ski rubbers. I've never blown a DuraPro ski rubber that I can remember, and I pair that with a DuraPro tether. Polaris's magnetic tether to me is not really magnetic. With the DuraPro falling off all the time and riding in Colorado where there's just a ton of snow, I don't want to have to dig the thing out where I can get my tether attached and have to push it on every time, because I was having problems with the connection. It would get iced up and I'd have to knock the ice off, and I sound like a sissy, but it was just way easier to go to a DuraPro. You just get it in the general area of that button and it just snaps to it, and it, by the end of the day, getting on and off 50 different times, it's just easier to have that. So I kind of put those as a pair with DuraPro, their ski rubbers and their tether. I haven't tried the Salas or whatever ski rubber.
On that tether, guys, I was somebody that was like, I'm not wasting the money on another tether. Like, it comes with a tether. But after riding Brent sled last winter with it, it is amazing how nice that tether is. You wouldn't think that it was something that's kind of a pain in the ass that you would appreciate, but really that magnetic tether is, you can appreciate a lot about that. Yep. Everything from the quality of it to when you put it on there and you hear that, it's an audible click to it when it attaches, it's an experience that I didn't expect to be so as good as it was.
And it's like with the electric start thing, it's like people are like, we'll just do the pull start. And I joke with you about that.
Yeah.
But it's like after the 50th time of having to pull a ski or, stop to film or whatever, it is nice to just for me, click the tether, and for you to just turn the key.
Yep,
You know,
exactly.
Like getting off all the time, then I don't have to unhook the tether for myself. I just pull it off with it being so easy to come off and then reattach.
Absolutely.
So-
And in my guiding stuff, like I get to the point where I won't even wear a tether because it's just such a pain in the ass having to like put it on and off all the time. Where with a DuraPro, that is not a struggle. It's just easy, throw it there and it clips.
Yep. So those are kind of my dynamic duo from DuraPro. My third thing, if you will, is a throttle block of some sort. So with me flipping the sled over all the time on re-entries and just deep snow in general, I guess you don't have to be tipping the sled over all the time. Ice and snow get built up in the throttle block, the stock throttle block. And I have had countless times where I'm, land a re-entry or whatever, and the throttle stays pinned open because there's so much ice and snow in there. And that is not a good feeling. So I like having the Skins throttle block, or every company, RSI makes, not every company, there's a lot of companies out there. RSI is another one that makes a throttle block, something that clears the snow and gets that throttle cable away from the plastic, basically. My fourth thing, so those are like somewhat cheap for snowmobile upgrades. My fourth thing is a Skins hood. With running camera gear and stuff, I find that it's easier to put batteries in the top pocket in the Skins hood, and it not only that, it keeps them warm, but not only that, it saves a ton of weight. And so I feel like to get a lot of weight off the sled, you can go away from the stock hood. Yes, you lose the headlights, but if you're really that worried about it, they are making a light for the Skins hood now. Or what I do is just have like an Oxbow or a Frankensled headlight, and I don't ride that much at night, so normally on the way out, that's adequate. And some of those are just as bright as the stock headlights, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. The other thing, to give the headlight thing, what I don't like riding at night without an actual headlamp and just having headlights on the sled is you can only see where the lights are pointed, obviously. With a headlamp, you can see where you're looking. And so, like, say you're going to side hill to the left, you can be looking left and it'll be lit up over there where you can see where you're going instead of, like, coming around the corner and there's a tree right there or whatever. So I just prefer to run the headlamp.
I think that's a safety thing, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I never leave without a headlamp that can clip into a GoPro mount on the helmet
Yeah.
any day, just because you never know when you're going to get stuck in a creek bottom. Got to get out that night and it's dark, whatever. And being able to say you make it, but you got to go back and help your friend get through something, to have that headlamp to see where you're going and help them get out or whatever. And hopefully they have their own too. But just for navigating in the dark, it's a dark place on the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just nice when, like, you don't have to be right in front of the headlights. If you have to fix something, if you have to, do whatever, you guys can probably, you understand what we're saying. There's so many reasons why you would need a headlamp. So that's what I just prefer to run. The last thing, and yes, this is expensive, but I like to run, because I'm on boost, I like to run a Boondocker tunnel dump exhaust. Like AJ's saying, it's not obnoxiously loud in my opinion. It's not much louder than the factory. I would say it sounds better, but I don't think it's like obnoxiously loud.
But it's not loud. Yeah.
Yeah. But the great thing about that is it eliminates cap off and it sounds good. And then you drop some weight too. So it's kind of a trifecta of good things coming from that. It is more expensive, but I do think it's worth it. Mine didn't leave the dealership without it. So that's kind of my essentials for the mountain sleds on Polaris snowmobiles. And, that's all of mine.
I think so. I mean, a lot of the Polaris accessories are really good, and we run a lot of the actual Polaris accessories. So check them out online. Check out these other companies that we name dropped there. We're not sponsored by a single person. That is the stuff that we use day in and day out on the mountain. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Hopefully it's helpful. And we'll see you next week. Like and subscribe.
Later. Hey, Ruffy.